And this is America's nightmare. We could be funding terror. Today, Secretary of State John Kerry admitting that some of the billions of dollars in sanctions relief granted to Iran under that nuclear deal will end up in the hands of terrorists.
I think that some of it will end up in the hands of the IRGC or of other entities, some of which are labeled terrorist. To some degree, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every component of that can be prevented, but I can tell you this. Right now, we are not seeing the early delivery of funds going to that kind of endeavor at this point in time. I'm sure at some point some of it will.
Former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Ambassador John Bolton, goes on the record. And good evening, sir. What I don't understand is this, is that Iran has been financing Hezbollah forever. Hezbollah is a terrorist group. I would expect that some of that money at a minimum would end up with Hezbollah.
Yeah, I really want to give props to Secretary Kerry. This man can embarrass himself endlessly and not even smile about it. You know, this past summer when they signed the nuclear deal, he was asked, wouldn't some of the unfrozen assets likely go to terrorists or to the nuclear program or state sponsors of terrorism? He said, no, Iran can't do that. There's a UN resolution that forbids people from aiding terrorist groups that have been sanctioned by the UN, and there are UN resolutions against using money for the ballistic missile program. And now, of course, he admits that these pieces of paper do absolutely nothing to stop Iran from allocating these funds any way they want to.
I've always thought that the money was far more dangerous in the deal than actually the business about the nuclear know-how, because the money can so destabilize a region. It's already so incredibly destabilized and make it extremely dangerous for Israel. As for the nuclear know-how, you can actually, frankly, could probably buy some of that stuff from Pakistan or perhaps North Korea or some rogue nation. So, and it's easier to take out, I think, the nuclear facilities than anyway. How do you fight this money that's being just doled out in the region?
Well, the nuclear know-how can get your attention when it explodes over your city, and nobody's shown any inclination to take it out. The fact is, though, that we've got some amount of money, $100 billion, $150 billion, that will free up and that Iran will be able to do with what it wants: build its domestic infrastructure, pay off debts, supply Assad and others with arms and training, aid terrorists. There's just no limit to what they can do with it. And that consequence was entirely foreseeable, and the administration just flat out denied that it was going to happen at the time of the signing of the deal.
By the way, I'm not underestimating the danger of nuclear weapons. It's just that Israel has always said that it could take out those nuclear plants with the United States assistance. I'm just saying that I don't mean to undermine that, the seriousness of that.
Yeah, I don't see Israel doing it, frankly. I have given up on the notion that Israel actually will strike the Iranian nuclear facilities, which is one reason I'm more concerned than ever about the deal, because I think that means Iran inevitably gets nuclear weapons, and sooner rather than later. But in the meantime, there's no doubt that billions of dollars of free cash, not to mention what they will gain from the trade and inward investment that eliminating the sanctions allows, will be an enormous economic boost to Iran at a time when global oil prices are still at $30 a barrel.
Ambassador, thank you. Enjoy Denver, because you're not getting home, because nobody's getting in or out of this town, at least not for a while.
You're telling
anyway,
me.
Thank you, Ambassador.